Mac is clearly a failing platform. We don't want to use Apple computers. And guess what? I have the solution. Sell Your Mac exists to sell your Mac. Imagine that. Revolutionary concept, isn't it? This is actually a site that is owned by OWC, who are a actually very reputable company. But they now will not only buy your Mac, but they will also sell you a refurbished Mac. So we're gonna start by trying to sell them an older Mac. So this is a 2013 MacBook Pro, a perfectly reasonable system, but definitely not worth much at this point. Now, sellyourmac.com offers 99% customer satisfaction. 1 out of 100 people, they say, "F you, unibody up to $1." I will immediately give them some props that this configurator is really nice. My price is $43. I'll be honest with you, that's not crazy. Why don't we try with something a little bit newer? So this is an M1 MacBook Pro. Wait, M1 or Touch Bar? Well, it's both. Condition, I think this is pretty good. 223. I'd like to see a little close to 300, but like, I mean, it's not crazy. Next, let's see what happens when I sell them an iPhone 11, or up to $1 for an iPhone 6S. $62. That's on the lower end. Why don't we try to buy ourselves an Apple device? Or 2, or 3, or 7.
No.
Now, if I want to buy a device, it actually kicks me over to the OWC website. They're warranted and backed by OWC themselves. That's actually cool. This is a Mac Pro for $1,300. Oh, okay. Here's something that I like. You can easily, kind of like on the Apple Store, honestly, pick which processor you want. Some Macs actually come with a 1-year warranty as opposed to the 90-day warranty. But I'm not spending $1,300 on Mac Pro, sorry. Oh, Alex, no.
What's wrong?
They have 12-inch MacBooks.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do with it? Make another Ultimate one?
Actually, why don't we check to see what they charge for iPhone 11s?
Well, I've got news for you.
Uh-oh. They don't have no iPhone 11s. This makes me think that they do not have a lot of iPhones. And they're charging $449 for an iPhone 12? What? Oh God, oh no. It includes a battery with no less than 70% of original capacity. No, 70% is a completely unacceptable amount of battery. Let me order a few of these Macs and let's see, is Sell Your Mac actually worth it? And so, my friends, we have a large amount of items from Sell Your Mac. But first of all, we also have the 2 items that we sold to them, and it was a quick process. So first of all, we sent in our iPhone 11, and there were no problems. So we got a PayPal of $62. However, when we went to go and get the quote for the MacBook Pro, they emailed me saying, quote, "While processing your device, our Apple certified technicians unfortunately noted a discrepancy from the original quote. Display assembly medium bent back left corner." And if you look at the photo, it looks like someone dropped the thing. We packed it up well enough, right?
Yeah.
Alex, as the one who packed it, don't say it with a non-confident tone. Don't go like, yeah.
So there was a small dent, but it wasn't like that dented.
Shipping damage happens, and it's not like they just said they weren't gonna take it. So the original quote was $223. However, they adjusted it down due to the damage to $186. I agree with that quote, given the damage that was on the MacBook. I find it very unlikely that they opened the box, dropped it on a table, then took a photo and sent it to me. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, especially because they were transparent with their communication. I think the real test is going to be not just selling stuff, but buying.
Let's do it. I've been waiting this whole time.
This is a Mac Mini. Our iPad. Okay, so this was actually, I think, maybe our cheapest item or one of our very, very cheap items. This should be our iPad 2. I'm not sure exactly why this was still sitting around because the iPad 2 came out in 2011. Dude, that is immaculate. Oh my God. There's like not like a scuff or a scratch on that back at all. I actually did a video on the iPad 2 back in 2011.
Is that why you got this?
No, I went to Best Buy and I actually interviewed people in line because this thing was a big deal. So when the first iPad came out, it was big, it was chunky, it didn't have cameras, but this thing was like dramatically thinner. I mean, I would say that like, that still feels like a reasonable kind of sort of tablet. Honey, look here, here's the cheese. There's no way this thing's gonna turn on, right? Y'all.
All right. I think we're cooking.
We're cooking all right. The screen is very nice looking. I'll say, like, it actually, I mean, it's low res. It's 1024 by 768, I think. It's on iOS, iOS 9? What iPad is this?
Yeah, 2. The very last iOS is 9.3.5.
I will be very clear. This is a 16 gigabyte iPad, and iOS 9 is still quite far behind. You're not gonna be able to do a whole lot with it. Let's actually see how beautiful these cameras are. Oh my God, look at that. Let's go! Now, if you too would like to be a big old iPad baby in the year of 2011, subscribe to the channel and ring-a-ling the ding-a-ling.
From now on, we're only shooting B-roll on this.
There you go.
I'm good. Thank you.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Austin's iPad Toddler, where we've now grown up to the rear-facing camera. Yeah, that's not good. Clearly no such thing as stabilization yet. Can we watch my iPad 2 video on the iPad 2? Oh, is that all that YouTube loads? Really? No, I just, okay, that's it. All right, well, you win some, you lose some.
We can sideload it.
Okay, well, can I ask the question I think I know the answer to? Ooh. This iPad, quite affordable, no?
The iPad that we can't really do anything with, very affordable. So we paid $43.
What condition was it in? Because I'm assuming it's excellent, like new or something like that, right?
Correct. It was in excellent condition.
I mean, it is absolutely immaculate. 40 bucks, man, sign me up. Next up, we have this nondescript and surprisingly heavy box. I will say packaging so far has been quite nice. Nothing has been, shall we say, GameStopped yet. Oh, Apple TV. This is a Apple TV 4K Gen 2 or something?
Yes, that is the one that you were holding in your hand.
Okay, so we know that these are typically running iPhone chips. What's inside the Apple TV 2nd Gen?
This is running an A12 Bionic.
Ooh, A12, okay, so that's actually kind of old. Now, looking at this Apple TV, it's definitely not in good shape. I mean, it's very scuffed. There's like some hits in the plastic. But here's the thing, this thing's gonna live behind your TV, so who cares? Also, wait, how many times did someone fail to plug in an HDMI? That HDMI port looks like it's been chewed up. I got this because I actually wanted to try to see how an Apple TV would perform as a gaming device. No, here's the thing. You laugh, and you should laugh because it's silly. But an Apple TV does support a PS5 controller. If you subscribe to Apple Arcade, which I have not done in a long time, but I might do just for this video, you can actually load up a lot of games. What's stopping you from turning an Apple TV into a Apple console? Sorry, Steam Machine. Timmy Cook's coming to eat your bacon. It is time, my friends, to game as Steve Jobs intended on an Apple TV remote. No, I'm not gonna do that. The only thing that Apple TV remote is good for is scrolling between my wonderful slideshows. Now, what we're really gonna be doing is we're gonna be gaming with a DualSense. So we've got 2K26, sneaky Sasquatch. Now, the thing is, I will say, I give them some props here. The games, my understanding, in Apple Arcade have no ads. What is with my buddy?
Doggy! Nintendo.
This is Nintendogs.
This is
for
Nintendogs.
sure.
You're correct. Yes, this is Nintendogs. Let's start out with classic. Let's do some Crossy Road. Do I just D-pad? Yep, just D-pad. Speed run! Ah, oh my God, can I just play?
Well, stop dying so quickly.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Let's play Hello Kitty. What, is that not the natural progression? Okay, come on, this is Animal Crossing. Can I just say how terrible the frame rate is? Like,
Yeah.
you can see that, right?
That actually
Whoa.
looks like you.
Give him little glasses.
Are you sure about that? Okay, fine. Uh-oh, oh no, oh
Is
no.
this plane gonna go down?
Bro,
He's a bird.
bro, he just jumps out.
This is your captain speaking. The cakes have gone too far.
Yeah,
What
even
if
that even that pose was very Animal Crossing.
Yes, oh my God, where are we dropping, boys? It runs so terribly though. Look at how just, woof. Let's play some 2K26. I feel like I just want to play these games now. The banjo. That seems like copyright music.
Probably.
What button is blank?
Blank.
Fine, I just turn off the music, just turn off all the sound then. I have a question about this. How much space do these games take up? I'm assuming a lot. So this is a 64 gig Apple TV. Yeah, dude, 2K is 17 gigs on its own. Who the hell's Chet? Chet! It does look kind of like an Xbox 360 maybe. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. All right, this is fine. This is totally fine. Kenzie, how much do we pay for our Apple TV Gaming Box 9000?
$109.
I mean, for context, that's about what you would pay to buy a base PS4, which this is not as powerful as. There is something to the Apple TV as a gaming device. It's weird because like there are tons of great games on like iPhone and iPad and stuff, and they all should pretty simply run on an Apple TV, but I don't think anyone takes the Apple TV seriously. No one has a controller for it.
Have they ever been serious though?
No, not since the Apple Pippin. So until you give me a Pippin emulator on the Apple TV, I'm afraid this is not it. Well, now that we've done some selling of Macs, why don't we do some buying of Macs? Sorry, that was really cringe, even for me.
Do you even have a cringe limit? I don't think you've ever found it.
You may remember, my friends, a little video we did a few months ago where I attempted to daily drive a 12-inch MacBook, the greatest MacBook of all time, nay, the greatest Mac of all time. Well, boy, oh boy, was that a disaster. I hate every minute of it. So this is a 12-inch MacBook, which is in relatively decent shape. So if you're unfamiliar, this is a device that first launched in 2015. It really sort of set the tone for the next decade of Mac design. It brought in this design language. It got rid of things like the glowing Apple logo. It was dramatically thinner. It had a high-res display, and it introduced USB-C. This was very controversial in 2015. It only had a single USB-C port, plus a headphone jack. And that meant that it was very limiting, especially because this is 2015. This was almost certainly your first USB-C device at all. All that being said, I love this hardware so much. And I think this is actually a 2017 model, correct?
Yes, 2017.
Even though I know that everyone hates the butterfly keyboard, while it's unreliable, I will completely admit, I actually don't hate the feel of the butterfly. I will say though, these things are really slow. Like, it's taking so long just to like create my account. I've never seen creating an account take more than like 2 seconds before. All right, let's see what we got here. This shows up as a 2017 12-inch MacBook with the 1.3 gigahertz dual-core i5 and 8 gigs of RAM. Hello? Oh, it just opened one thing. Cool, great. Oh no. There's like some dead LCD pixels. Do you see it right there in the corner? Having dead, like, not even just dead pixels, like a whole bunch of them, makes me think that the LCD is either potentially failing or maybe like got dropped or something at some point. Because otherwise, it's in hardware-wise, it's in pretty good shape. It has a cycle count of 7.
Whoa.
Did someone put a new battery in? So I will say, as a person who did multiple battery swaps on a 12-inch MacBook, it's not fun because the batteries are kind of expensive and it's a lot of work to do, and also they're very finicky. How much did I pay for this? Too much. I know that.
$329.
I'll probably throw a copy of like Mint on it. I'm not happy though. I'm not happy. I actually have some quite good news when it comes to the 12-inch MacBook. So I took it home over the weekend, spent a little bit of time with it. I now have Linux Mint installed. While it's not perfect, I still got a little bit more tweaking. It was actually a pretty smooth experience. I have a couple of issues with my audio drivers, which I still need to track down, and it does not like to go to sleep. It's got insomnia, and importantly, it's fairly responsive. I mean, this thing feels snappier than it did when it was running Mac OS, and Linux solved my dead pixels. And that is because as I was installing Linux the other day, I was looking at those dead pixels. They were goo. So I stand corrected when it comes to this Mac. It is in fact in excellent condition. And because I'm using a lightweight version of Linux here, I actually have quite good battery life. I'm impressed. Again, if you want to install Linux, we actually did an entire video on installing Linux on a variety of Macs. I think it's an excellent idea, especially for older devices like this. I'm pretty happy. Now, this item, I will tell you I have low expectations for it because I believe this should be our cellular telephone from the Apple Corporation. The selection of iPhones on Sell Your Mac, surprisingly small. I bought one of the very few iPhones that was even on the store. This should be our iPhone XR in the worst possible color. This was the budget phone of the year. This was alongside something like the iPhone XS, which was a nice device, but I will say had terrible battery life and was like $250 more expensive. Meanwhile, the 10R gave you the modern design language of no home button. And one of the main reasons why I like the 10R so much over something like the 10S was the battery life was a lot better. Partially because this had a pretty mediocre LCD display. And everyone was like,
It's only 720p.
my iPhone 10R from 2018, my mom still uses that phone every day. I bought her a newer phone and she's like, nah, it's fine. This iPhone looks pretty clean, I'll say. I do think it was in a case because I can see like it's slightly darker around the power button. Just for context, putting this beside an iPhone Air, the size of the bezels are truly impressive on the iPhone 10R. I mean, it's just, this was a bezel-less phone when it first came out. And I think that you can see how far we've come over the last, 7 years. Now, before I open the battery, I will say, they were very vague with the actual battery percentage, were they not? Like, didn't they say it was something like only above like 70% or something? Like they didn't really give you a fine range. Most refurbishers will give you a guarantee of at least 80%. 80% exactly.
Oof.
Which, for the age of this phone, sounds about right. Even though you can buy a battery for this for probably like $15 on Amazon, is it really worth for you to open the phone up and swap the battery? And while third-party batteries for iPhones actually are generally pretty decent these days, still like, do you really want to spend the money? Like you could just buy a newer phone. Wow, look at that beautiful front-facing camera. Wow. I like the mouth POV. I'm not detecting anything that's too egregious with this phone. I think it's in good physical condition. So Alex, I think the big question that's on everyone's mind right now is how much did I pay for my iPhone 10R and what condition?
The condition is very good.
It is very good except for the battery, so I will agree.
We paid $155.
What? If you wanted to give this to little Timmy as his first phone, which the most important thing is it is fully supported, right? I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that you should not be buying your iPhones on Sell Your Mac, which I think the name probably insinuated that already. And now comes the biggest package that I have unboxed in many a moon. This should be the one, the only Mac Professional. I used to absolutely fuck with the Mac Pro.
What?
This is the 2019 Mac Pro.
Oh, okay, all right.
Handles!
Oh my God.
Alex, oh my God.
Behold, Johnny Ive's final great invention, the Mac Pro. So I'll tell a little story. When this first came out, this was one of the very few Apple events that I was invited to. And I went to do the hands-on area, and Sir Jonathan Ive himself was standing there. And I just said, man, beautiful design. And he gave me a look, and he kept on talking. I was like, well, I'm gonna shut the hell up. I'm not saying that there's a direct correlation with I didn't get any more invites to Apple events after that. I mean, it also maybe I had $ for eyes in my thumbnail as I was talking about the Mac Pro, but regardless. So it's got some scratches. I didn't do those scratches. There's also a dent here, which actually has dented both the side panel and the top. And of course up front, you got yourself your beautiful 3D cheese grater. I think this has 10 gig Ethernet if I remember right. Oh my goodness. I might need a new pair of pants. The entire thing is actually built around these rails front and back. These also on the top double as, it looks like antennas. I've actually wanted one of these for a while. The problem is, they were a wee bit expensive. This started at $5,000, did it not?
That is correct. The top model was almost $54,000.
Okay,
Don't break it.
this is actually just a Radeon RX 580, or 580X specifically. So what you see is that they actually have PCI, which is standard, and then they have the like NPX connector. These are also just PCI slots. I've seen people buy these things, load them up with a ton of RAM, and then load them up with like RTX 5090s and a copy of Windows or Linux or something, and they use them for like AI workloads or something. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. That, my friends, is of course OWC RAM, because I think they've upgraded this themselves. This has 6 16 gigabyte modules, which if I'm doing my math right, is 96 gigabytes of RAM. Let me put this thing back together, let's fire it up, and let me see what this Mac Pro is is really capable of. Oh, I see the fan spinning.
Hey, wow, that was loud.
Feel that. I mean, you can't because you're watching a YouTube video. Feel that. The downside is that I think that it's actually maybe not as powerful as an Apple Silicon device of 1 year newer. I'm very happy to report we did not, in fact, pay over $6,000. And I will say, as with every single item besides I think the Apple TV, we did get the OWC warranty extension. When I actually went to go check out, it was not automatically added. I actually had to go in and specifically add the 1 year warranty. I mean, it's nice that they have that, but they shouldn't make that an optional add-on. And I paid a very low, very reasonable price.
We paid $1,229. That is actually pretty friggin' good for this thing.
That's a lot of computers, especially with 96 gigs of RAM. I could load up freaking 3 or 4 Chrome tabs on this bad boy.
Hell yeah.
How many tabs does it take before I can fill up my memory? Right now, we're doing nothing at all. It's just loaded up to a fresh copy of macOS. It is using 10.27 gigabytes of RAM. So I guess we just start with the YouTube tab.
What sites have a memory leak? Try Photopea, because you could probably.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, generate with AI. That sounds like it's gonna take a lot of space. That is. Oh, we bumped up to 14 gigs. Okay, Wikipedia is loaded up. 16 gigs of RAM, 16.2.
Try like thedailymail.com. They probably have a bunch of garbage ads.
Apparently, Campbell Executive has sickening remarks about the soup.
Coolmathgames.com.
Oh, and Newgrounds.
Yeah, just like a bunch of Newgrounds
Oh, yeah,
games.
look, I could just spam click. I don't know how many tabs of Friday Night Funkin'. Internet Road Trip is loading. I will say the Mac Pro is getting slow. We're only at 36 gigabytes of RAM right now. Wait, what if I just load up apple.com until it crashes?
Dear God. Go to tumblr.com. I bet they're not
Tumblr, is Tumblr still exist?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wait, is this the max tabs on Chrome?
Do you need a new window?
You're right! Daily Mail, 46, 47, and 51. Oh, we're making it. I'm kind of surprised that Chrome has not crashed. I've loaded up enough that it is now running like 1 FPS. Well, we are currently at 69 gigs of RAM.
Nice.
I think we get the idea that this is a truly absurd amount of RAM. So we bought this before RAM prices had spiked. What does 96 gigs of RAM cost from OWC?
Basically $500. Do you want to know how much it was a year ago? January 2024, it was $250. It has literally doubled in price.
I actually think Sell Your Mac kind of gets a pretty solid pass on this video. Their prices are all reasonable. Their ship times and trade-ins and all that kind of stuff was fairly quick. I'm actually not mad. Now, don't buy a phone from them, but if you want to buy or sell a Mac, you know, the thing that the site is called, it's actually pretty good. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that ding-ling button. Until next time, my friends, stay safe out there and use RAM responsibly.